Dana Faulds.
I'm going to mute everybody.
And uh, again, we could probably use to do this reading every morning. Dana Faulds is a yoga teacher, and I tell people I love her as a poet. To me, she's kind of the Anne Sexton of the yoga community. She says, despite illness of body or mind, in spite of blinding despair or habitual belief, who you truly are is whole. Okay? That's something we need to remember when we say that you're perfect just the way you are, though I don't like the word perfect. You're worthy just as you are. This is what we mean, that there is a part of you that you need to stay in touch with that's already whole. Let nothing keep you separate from the truth. The soul, illuminated from within, longs to be known for what it is. What does that mean? It means that dissatisfaction that you have, that feeling that there's got to be more to life than this, that's the voice of your spirit telling you that you're not authentic, that there's a distance between who you truly are and where you are in terms of your brain. You're not there. This part is undying. It's untouched by fire or the storms of life. If you're seeking refuge, this is where you find your refuge, not in relationships, not in places, not in groups. You find it inside. There's a place inside where stillness and abiding peace reside. When we say take refuge in the breath, take refuge in the present moment, these aren't just pretty words. This is a guide to where you go when you're feeling externally. You go to the present. She says you can ride the breath to go there. Despite doubt or hopeless turns of mind, you are not broken. This part can't be broken. Our egos can be broken. They're extremely fragile because they're artificial. They're mental constructs. They're things that we try to hang on to establish a sense of stability. But it's the wrong thing to try and build. That's what Jesus meant by don't build your house on sand. The sand is the ego. The sand is based on control, on me wanting what I want out of life. And I'm prepared to go through that. The term ego death is getting more and more current because of psilocybin research. But it represents a place where you go where that fragile ego is lost. And that's where you want to build your foundation. Spirit surrounds, embraces, and fills you from the inside out. I keep trying to suggest to you, I've got a reading I've been doing to all my clients. The guy says 30% of the energy released in your mitochondria comes from your food. 30%. 70% of your energy comes from light, water, and magnetic energy. These are the kind of things that I keep suggesting to you, that out here in nature, that is not just a pretty place to go and go, oh, look at the nice begonia. This is a place that actively entrains your body, sets you back to your factory specs of peace, love, and joy. So we can't ignore, well, we can't ignore because we do it every day, the, the world around us, the energy that surrounds us. So by beginning to turn inward, what we're doing is developing the senses to actually experience the energy that is around us, to feel it nourishing us, to feel it releasing that energy. She says, release everything that isn't your true nature, and what's left, the fullness, light, and shadow, claim all of that as your birthright. I'm not a big fan of entitlement. I'm going to talk in a minute about that, but it is your right to be happy, to be peaceful, to be to be joyful. So I'm going to read that without any gloss. Despite illness of mind or body, in spite of blinding despair or habitual belief, who you are is whole. Let nothing keep you separate from the truth. The soul, illuminated from within, longs to be known for what it is. Undying, untouched by fire or the storms of life, there's a place inside where stillness and abiding peace resides. You can ride the breath to go there. Despite doubt or hopeless turns of mind, you are not broken. Spirit surrounds, embraces, and fills you from the inside out. Release everything that isn't your true nature. And what's left, the fullness, light, and shadow, claim all of that as your birthright. Now, we hear words like that and we go, what the fuck is she talking about? I said, I experienced my breath, and it's hard to even keep my awareness on it, my attention on it. How can it be this miraculous thing that somehow is going to give me what I've been able to get through medicine, through psychotherapy, through is this puffing me up with expectations that are only going to be disappointed by my experience? And my answer to you is no. We're being pointed at a reality that every wisdom tradition talks about. They all talk about breath. They all talk about the importance and the significance of breath. Here's Dana Faulds, and she's giving us a clue as how to begin to activate this. She says, one slow breath awakens my awareness. Okay. One slow breath awakens my awareness. What she's saying is, when I breathe with awareness, when I bring my awareness to what's happening with my breath, I start to wake up. The second breath begins to take me even deeper. So we don't stop there. We open ourselves to even more. And each breath begins to connect me with a mystery. This is why I keep encouraging you, when you follow your breath, let go of all trying to understand what's going on. Let go of all your preconceptions. Okay? Just allow yourself to be present for the unfolding wonder of each moment as you breathe. At that porous boundary, why is that a porous boundary? Because what's happening is we've got spirit, which is the awareness, meeting sensation. And what is sensation? Sensation is God meeting your body. This is God actively incarnating your body. God as energy, what everything has in common, at the ground of our being. That energy, the unified field of energy around us, is creating you through giving you energy and sustaining you. The way you experience that is through your senses. Now, we've developed, as I said, our 5 external senses. And what yoga invites us to do is to close those doors and begin to feel the impact of the breath on your body. And I can give myself goosebumps taking one breath that's as sensual as making love. Can you do that? It absolutely lights up, fills your body from the tip of your coccyx to the top of your head. The thrill of being aware of that breath. In that porous boundary where the ego lets the spirit begin to leak in, joy trickles in like groundwater or begins to rush through me like a flood. Either way, I breathe enough amazement to fill me from toe to crown. Breathe in enough. We always go outside to be amazed, to have these experiences. And they're suggesting there's an internal world that you can have it that fills you literally You can begin to feel when you begin to consciously receive with the breath. You begin to feel from your base all the way up to your crown. The overflow, and there's always more than I can hold. Okay. When you take in this energy, there's a buildup of energy that you then need to release. You need to give back, which is what the out breath does. It begins to run down my face and taste like the first honeysuckle to bloom when spring gives way to summer. This is an energy called ojas, which is sweet like honey. You begin to feel it in your skin, begin to feel it oozing out of you. One breath enlivens my experience. The next delivers healing and contentment. Delivers healing and contentment. Not just emotional healing, but physical healing. Because the energy is what's the healer. We always say as energetic healers, as doctors, we don't cure people, we don't heal people. All we can do is to create an optimum environment for healing to happen. And when you still your mind, when you begin to breathe with awareness, you're creating a space that optimizes the possibility for physical healing. When you're in fight or flight, it shuts off your immune system. Read a book called The Biology of Belief by a cellular biologist from Stanford named Bruce Lipton. When you're in fight or flight, your digestion stops, your immune system stops, and the sending energy to your energy stores all stop. Your telomeres begin to break down. When you begin to breathe and begin to shift to ventral, you create healing space, and you can feel that healing happening in your body. Now, the other beauty of breath is that you can use breath and direct it. So as an energy healer, when I put my hand here on Linnell's head, that excess of energy that I generate with the in-breath, I direct outward towards her, okay? And hopefully she's at a place where she's breathing in to receive the energy, okay? Now, you can direct the same energy to your ankle, to your knee, to your back. You can begin to surround those areas of your back with loving kindness instead of being at war with your body, okay? One of the phrases that Jack Cornfield says is stop the war, stop the war. You can't heal what you don't see, what you don't directly experience, what isn't in your awareness, but you can't heal it until you accept it, okay? And acceptance means quit trying to make it be other than it is, okay? Can you love it just as it is? So practicing loving kindness, particularly as we age, often begins with learning how to love our bodies. So, I don't know what's going on here. So when we receive with awareness, I'm going to suggest something to you. Breathing is a model for the secret of life in that it's based on reciprocity. So you hear me say every week, everything in life, if you want to look at the face of God, look at the Tao, that circle of the yin and yang. And you see the darkness begins, it gets to, no, that's the face of dog, the dyslexic God. So you've got the darkness grows when it's at its fullest point. The seeds of light are already there. The light begins until the seeds of darkness are present. Okay? In the middle and the interface is a sine wave. We know everything in the universe is sine wave energy. Our breath is riding the breath of the universe. Okay? You can't separate the in-breath from the out-breath. Can't separate the up from the down. They co-create each other. The mind separates, but that separation doesn't exist in reality. We say there's a state of Louisiana. You look at us from space, there's no borderlines indicating a state. We give you a name, but if we looked at you at the eyes of energy, there's no boundary between you and the universe. Okay? We're all riding the same pulses, riding the same energy. We have trouble receiving. Those of us I'm looking at the screen, we're all people pleasers. We're all giving way more than we take in. That's why we're drained. It's why we're exhausted. If you want to be powerful, if you want to be a giver, then take more. Take until, like Dana says, you're so full that it starts oozing out of you, and give that away. So as we receive, part of the problem is that we're afraid we're going to be obligated, because so much of our things is we give to get. People give what we want to get from other people. Well, we're afraid they're going to do the same thing. That if we take, I'm binding myself into a situation. This is not true. That has nothing to do with spiritual life. Okay? The very act of receiving is something that is given to you with your breath. You can either receive it gratefully, or you can ignore the gift. Most of us are ignoring the gift because we're afraid of the implications of fully receiving it. We're afraid of being obligated or trapped into some kind of contract. No, take as much as you possibly can hold, okay? Because the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to give it away, okay? So the first act of life is the in-breath. I draw life in. It quickens me. What's the last act of life?
Exhale.
We exhale. We give the last bit of us back to the universe, and we surrender into it. So with every breath, I receive the sacred energy, and I know I'm sacred energy. What does that fill your entire spirit with? Anybody got a guess? Gratitude. That's all we have to give back to the world. Spiritual writers say if the only prayer you ever say is thank you, it's enough. It's enough. So we don't receive with a sense of entitlement the way our culture does, a bunch of narcissists. Oh, I'm entitled to this, in an egoic way. No, not entitled to it in an egoic way, but in the way of a tree is entitled to the nourishment it takes today, the water, the carbon dioxide, the sunlight. So in the same way, as you're receiving your breath today, receive it with gratitude, receive it with awareness. Begin to explore how it lands in your body. Allow yourself to become porous. Allow yourself to receive that energy, to draw it in, to begin to experience the breath as a sacred energy that is blessing you, that is literally quickening you, that is creating you in this moment. And don't force anything, but just allow yourself to be delighted by that in-breath and by how good it feels to let that breath go and to go, waiting to exhale, to fully let go of those egoic holdings and resistances and just give the ego a rest. We could have brought the bowl down, but
I have a bowl.
she's got a bowl. Of course she does. She's the Linnell.
You ready?
Go. This is a meditation that it might help to close your eyes. Begin to bring your awareness to the sensations of the breath. You to feel the sensations of the breath, not only at the nostrils, feel the sensations in the sinuses, back of the throat, feeling the sensations in the lungs. Let go of any thinking, any striving to accomplish anything. Let yourself be grateful for the miracle of breath. That all night long your body breathes itself. All day long when you're unconscious, your body breathes itself. Doesn't need the ego's help. It's just like the ocean. And be open to experiencing the wonder that you're receiving energy, sacred life force energy. Energy freely given to you, your mana. Science is proving what Jesus said. We don't live by bread alone. Relaxing into awareness, not thinking the breath, but just aware of the sensations, floating in a field of awareness. With the beginner's mind, open to wonder, awe. Feel the breath moving the chest. Now feeling the breath up into the shoulders can cause a relaxation response. Like a gentle massage inviting you to let go of the tension in the shoulders. Allow the shoulders to surrender to gravity, another energy field drawing you towards itself. Gravity inviting you to let go and relax. Surrender all the effort to hold yourself apart. Drawing the breath into the chest, aware of how that expansion, chest muscles, is an invitation to really, draw in a deep breath, a freer breath. invitation to expand energetically. And then to let go, to sigh into the next out breath. Feel the breath affecting your tummy, wear that energetic girdle that you wear all day. And let the in-breath expand the belly, soften that tension in the belly. Connecting you with the sensations all the way to the floor of the pelvis. And see if there's any desire for the breath to get deeper. For the body to soften in response to the in-breath. With each out-breath, let go, all holding, all resistance. And perhaps you can feel the concentration of energy with the in-breath somewhere in your body, generally around your solar plexus or your heart. And see if you can feel the in-breath intensifying that energy center, like blowing on a coal. With the exhale, see if you can feel that warmth, that energy, that tingling sensation moving out of your body, out of your arms, your fingertips. They can now photograph your energy 30 times more intense in your fingertips than other parts of your body. 10 times more in your palms. Can you feel that? Can you sense that at all? Conversely, can you feel yourself receiving energy through your palms, through your feet when you breathe in? That you're not simply receiving and giving through the breath, but also through your whole body. And allow yourself to settle into an attitude of gratitude. Grateful for the miracle of each in-breath and each out-breath. The Buddhists ask, do you fully appreciate the rare miracle of this human incarnation? What a blessing it is to be God incarnate, the universe capable of experiencing itself as peace, as love, as joy, as wonder and curiosity. Awake to the wonder of each breath, grateful for a body capable of sensing and delighting in these energies, fully receiving and giving. No difference between the two, simply two different sides of the same wave. Can you get those little bitty squares a little bigger?
No,
No?
I'm on gallery view.
Okay.
There you go.
Cool.
Mhm.
Okay, Rebecca, this time where we ask questions
Any
and
comments?
comments. So Rebecca's one of our new people. Recently, our neighbor in Texarkana, and we discovered also just completed her yoga teacher training and is continuing with us on her journey. So very happy that we found each other on our walk.
And
Also,
two wiener dogs.
mommy of two wiener dogs who Nandi wants nothing to do with. He's a crusty old curmudgeon.
So before the meditation, you were said something about energy coming 30% from food
Right.
and 70% from
Light,
light.
water, and gravity.
Anything from breath?
Well,
Would you say
that
air or
so there I really don't know how they measured the energy.
yeah,
I think if you began to look at it from a Ayurvedic
right.
thing, there's
There would
much
be
more in
air.
terms of energy, and air would be in there.
Earth.
That's the gravity.
That's gravity.
That's the gravity. So fire is the heat in the Hindu system. It's called Agni. It's a separate set of energy, which is through the digestion of your food. So their
So
whole
sun also energizes.
the sun energizes in many ways. We're finding in production of vitamin D and melatonin, which is why it's so essential to get out in that early morning and late evening, late afternoon sunlight, because that is nourishment. It's not something else. It's actually producing something in your body.
Food, water, sun, breath. Ken used to teach on that when we would go on yoga retreats.
And that's why I wish Hansa was here.
Yep.
Because Hans, if you don't know, not only a yoga teacher and has been for over 50 years, but she's also an expert on subtle energies in the body and could, I'm teaching
Expand
first grade
on that.
and she could,
101.
yeah, she could be doing the graduate course.
Bart, you did in one of our meditations, I don't know, maybe a year ago, maybe less. I remember you talking about, I don't really know if this was part of the meditation or part of the talk beforehand, but I remember you talking about feeling energy in the palm of your hands. And I think something that you had us do is maybe to hold our palms up for a while and then turn them downward. And I liked that a lot because I feel a lot of energy, energy in my hands today. So I was directing during this meditation, I was like directing breath into this pinky and then into this finger and just being aware and amazed about how much sensation there is in my hands.
No.
I don't know. It felt very, it reminded me too of a book that I'm in the process of reading. Trying to remember, I think the book is on Wicca. And the chapter is about sensing and directing energy.
Right.
I remember, sitting in this room with my palms up for like, 15 minutes, looking at the book, okay, do this, looking at the book and, so this is very cool.
Yeah. So when we say you're a conduit for light, that's a phrase the mystics will use. That's exactly what we are, a conduit. All right. You're like a flute that Rumi uses that image. God's the breath, and you're the physical instrument that's being vibrated and shapes the tone of the energy that passes through you. And that's our gift. Our gift. There's no right or wrong way to resonate if you're an instrument. You simply resonate the way you're constructed. But beginning to bring these things into awareness, we've been made so energy blind by our culture in terms of what we're taught to think of as significant, that we've never been taught that the feeling of the energy hitting our body is the most essential thing to be aware of in your day. Not your thoughts, not your feelings, not your body in the gross physical sense. But we talk about primitive people as primitive because they have animism. And what does animism mean? They mean that they think everything around them is full of God. Oh, wow, that's a primitive fucking belief. Boy, those dodos, they don't have anything to teach us, do they? We need to get them a TV to watch instead of paying attention to all that energy inside now. So, need a cell phone to look at.
I got something on the breath that I would like to share.
Yeah.
This week I had the privilege to be in a little book study, a brand new book study about Mary Magdalene over at Dorothy's house. And I don't know why, but during that, what we read, I really can't really tell you where it came from, but it was about the breath and how we always breathe if we're aware of it or not. We always breathe. And then the discussion came up is that you can direct your breath, what we do in meditation, and how that can improve your life. But what caught me so dearly was it doesn't matter if you direct your breath or not. Your breath has you. You're going to breathe. It's just the privilege of recognizing you can direct it and do something with it. But if you don't do it, talk about gratitude, you're still breathing and you don't even know you are. To me, I felt like ultimate gratitude for the breath.
Yeah. For everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
I don't know how to mute myself.
Breath is queen.
Breath is
Queen bee.
Queen bee. Yep.
So I shared this with Tiffany and Treese, but my friend Joan, who interrupted your session, Bart, talked to me about this book.
Awestruck.
Awestruck. Do you know this book?
No.
I didn't know about it either. But in the introduction, it talks about we're just beginning to understand why some of our flashbulb moments can be so critical to our health and well-being, and how these moments that make us go, wow, can truly change us.
Is
the world just perfect how it is?
I love the synchronicity that happens through the group. By the way, one thing I want to remind you is that Thich Nhat Hanh said the next Messiah will not be a person. It will be a group. And I like that it's going to be the interconnection of these energies, bringing in the next world transformation. So listen to what you're saying about awe. And what do you think the difference between spiritual people and non-spiritual people is? Every one of us is having spiritual experiences all the time. The difference is most people don't see the significance of it. They only see the sensual side of it and they go, oh, that was a beautiful sunset. I think I'll go get a cabin in the mountains so I can see that sunset every day. Oh, that's a beautiful tree. I think I'll plant one in my yard. We want to possess it. Ego starts wanting to control it. We only handle it at the level of enriching my experience. So I'm going to take a picture of it so that I have it. I've captured it. Now I can share it with other people as if it's a possession of mine. The East is totally different. You see a beautiful flower, you stop, you breathe it in, you leave it alive. You don't pick it, kill it, take it into your house, okay? So, what we have to be careful of is that so often those of us who recognize the significance of spiritual moments, begin to direct that energy for egoic means. This is a part of the wheel of deluded existence that's called the false heaven. And Linnell knows that I call it the land of Lululemon. It's all the people sitting around having beautiful experiences, but it's not nourishing anything except their own sense of their own spirituality. What Alan Watts says, the more spiritual you try to become, the less spiritual you become. So we have to be careful of that and realize that we let it do us. When you talk to, I'm just playing on the subtle trap of directing the spiritual energy. There's a huge difference between allowing the energy to go where the energy wants to go, that it has its own wisdom. And my directing the energy simply means I am now facing it this way, but in no sense does it mean I'm controlling that interaction. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
That flow
We're
between
grasping, trying to
make something happen. I had an energy worker work on me lately, and I could feel her trying to make something happen in my body, and it just made me resist. Yeah. So again, as you open and allow. Just if you're directing it, direct it to the person in front of you. And this is what Jesus meant by the parable of sowing seeds. I sow the seeds. Doesn't matter who's in front of me. I'm going to give them the same energy. Some people, it's going to be stony ground. Nothing's going to happen. Okay. Other people, it's going to be bear fruit for a while, then it's going to die. Some people are going to receive it and do something with it, but that's not my business. Once it leaves me, I'm done. No goal, no payoff. So letting it transform you, that's what makes spiritual people. The energy changes them. Okay, we allow it to change us, to shape us. I'm sorry I pick on subtle differences, but it's so important not to get that language not cloud the picture for us. Anybody else?
Well, I can share my experience this morning just for shits and giggles. And
as I get older, I appreciate that first part more and more.
I noticed the perceived difference of meditating with the group. I don't know if it's I have no idea if it's real or not, but all I know is that sometimes I experience a much quicker and deeper meditation with the group. And then what I thought, and so I experienced that this morning. And then I was like, God, why don't I just do this for 12 hours a day? Like, what am I doing with my life? Like, why can't, like, you know, I think there is a magic to meditating in this group. And then what happened was I started in the silence near the end of the meditation. My mind, body started to it was like a bell curve, except downward.
Mm-hmm.
And the downward was toward like a deep stillness. And then it started to rise back upward towards the normal. And I was like, oh no, it's going, oh no,
Wrong way.
oh no. But my mind, body was not apprehensive. I'm trying to think of the word. Predicting, or the end of the meditation, not apprehensive, but maybe a little bit apprehensive. Something between predicting and apprehensive of the meditation ending.
Resistant.
Yeah, it was like expecting, like, control, knowing what's coming, expecting, like, when's it gonna end, that type of thing. And I'm going, oh no, I just want to be back in but I wasn't, I just like,
Yeah.
let it happen. I wasn't too, it didn't like, it was just a fun, when it was happening, I thought it was funny.
Yep.
I watched it happen.
Right. Great. That's perfect. That's that irony. And so here's the ego trying to hang on to what it's got and creating the very suffering instead of just letting it go, and know that the next in breath is coming. I don't have to be terrified of full out breath.
Yeah.
I will have a next in breath.
And
that's trusting the process. Instead of faith, I like the phrase trust the process, trust the energy.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah. Good job. Good job. And yes, okay, so what makes a truth and not simply a subjective experience is the fact that it's verified by other people. It's like when my mother died, my experience was of a huge weight being lifted off my shoulder, an energetic weight that I didn't know I was carrying. And I was able to get a deep breath for the first time in my life in years. And I think that my ex-wife actually divorced me because I had that response. It's like, what kind of cruel person feels relieved that his mother is dead? And it's not that it was cruel. I hadn't talked to her in 13 years. We had no relationship. I wasn't losing anything. She had just passed. So I called my brother Tony up and I said, Tony, I just wanted you to know Mom's dead. He goes, okay. I said, so how do you feel about that? He said, I feel like a huge weight got lifted off my shoulders. I said, son, we may be the only two people in the world who have that experience and understand it, but it means we're not crazy. It means there's really something there. So how many of you experience the same thing Matthew does, that when we get together as a group, it's easier to enter your meditation, it's easier to stay with it, you get a little bit deeper, okay? This is what we mean by aligning our energies, okay? We are not separate. The separation between us is the illusion. We're all connected through this energetic field that's out there. So we do impact each other. We do impact each other over distances. And they do experiments of scientific healing and having one group that's getting prayed for, another group that isn't. They've got the same disease. Nobody knows who they're praying for. Nobody knows whether they're being prayed for or not. What do you think the impact is on people's healing? 50% quicker with the people who are being prayed for over distance. This was from St. Louis to Chicago, okay? So we're beginning to do studies now. When the military picks it up and tries to weaponize it, that it's a reality. So you can find not only experiments we were doing, the Germans were doing, the Russians are doing, the U.S. is doing it in what they're calling psychic phenomena. It's not psychic phenomena. It's energetic, interconnected. It's quantum physics. So yes, we are connected by more than Zoom, and I love it that you experience it. So try not to weaponize it. Just enjoy it and use it to your advantage. And yes, Matthew, you have every right to sit and delight in life There are two parts of the spiritual path. There are gurus who do nothing but beam with the energy and the light. One example of that is Sri Chinmoy, who is Santana's guru. And when you would see him in some of the videos, he's like, his eyes are rolled back in his head, and he's singing chants, and he's just radiating joy and peace. But the fucker can't drive his car. He can't cook for himself. He's got the few little impediments, which is why we need a whole culture like Tibetan Buddhism, where they go and put rice in his bowl every day. But then there are the people, and that's the path I teach, which is the Bodhisattva path. So the Bodhisattva path is the story of three guys. I know Linnell's trying to give me out.
Please.
Dinah was waiting to say something too.
Okay. Yeah. So anyhow, the point is you have the experience, then you take it back out into the world and you share it and let other people know that it's a possibility.
Go ahead, Dinah.
It's just going back to something that Matthew had talked about, because when I was gone, I listened to one of the sanghas in a recording by myself, and it was a very different feeling. I felt very isolated, and I think I may have talked to my siblings about what had been happening here when I was gone. And last week I was with my ex, who has become a more Zen person without me, but we get along very well, which is great. And we watched the following recording together, and I didn't have that same feeling.
Wow. Because
I was sharing it in the same space as somebody else who was open to it and who saw what was going on but didn't. I mean, there were certain things that, he didn't know any of the faces and the commentaries, and, he got a different feeling from it than I did. But sharing it with him also was extraordinary, because it was somewhere in between.
Sweet.
Somewhere in between watching by myself and being
different energy. Different energy. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. Naomi wants to home us out.
All right. We probably won't see you next week. We'll be in New York City.
Singing at Carnegie Hall on Memorial Day.
All right.
We'll include that in our little notes out. Yep. Gratitude. Deep breath in.
Sending your breath out to the universe. Enjoy a song.
Wow. Love you all.
Love you.
Love you more.
Here.
Love you.
Bye.
Care. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Tommy. Love you guys. I gotta go buy more plants.
There you go.
Yeah.
More plants.
I actually do not need more plants, but it's spring. What else am I gonna do?
They need you. They need you.
The garden needs them.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.